Now that you have R installed on your computer, are you wondering how to use it to work with CSV files in your day-to-day work? Well, in this week's R for Sport video, we're going to look at just that, how to import, read, and manipulate data from CSV files. So let's get started. As always, if you're finding my videos for the first time, make sure you hit like and subscribe below, and also hit that notification bell icon so you are notified of future videos. As I said, this week we're going to look at some basic commands for reading and manipulating data from CSV files. If you missed the first video in this R for Sport series, make sure you check it out in the card in the above right hand corner. Otherwise, let's get started. So as we did last time, we're going to make sure to load the packages into our R environment first. So let's do that. And now what we're going to need to do is we're going to set a, you can call it like a working directory, and I will do that for you if you are using projects, which I do. You do have a couple of options though if you do not use projects and you are just using just a general R script. And what you can do is use set wd, and then if you put in a location, and you'll need to do this, for example, based on where anything is on your computer. So let me just rephrase. So there, similar to that. If I copy this one, I actually have down further below here. If I did this, and then I would just need to remove the end and say, for example, there, that would be my working directory. If I do that, and then that's where you would see here, it's set to that working directory. But what I do generally is I use here, as I'm using R projects, which generally where the R project is saved is where the working directory will be. I tend to use a here function to find my working directory. So what I can do here is if I go, again, put into quotations, if I put data, I can see here in my environment the location of data. If I then just put FAWSL on the end, you'll see the rest of it there as well. So now what I can do is I can create a file name here, and I'm going to use paste 0. So you're going to have to paste this value here in the top along with what is the name of your file. So if I go into my files in the bottom right here, I can find a lot of them here. If I just use a short summary like I have down the bottom here, what I can do is go paste data and then in quotations statsbomb underscore short summary.csv and save that. So you'll see here, if I expand my window, here is my full file name and directory pasted together. Paste 0 will add, will paste the two strings together without adding any spaces. If you use paste, it'll add a space in between. Just a little trick. So now if I go read CSV and file name, you'll see that it just reads it all in. And you can see that all on your console at the bottom. But the thing here is it doesn't save it into our environment. If you don't save a file name in the environment, you can also read in the full string, I guess, of the location on your computer and the name of the file. If I do that as well, it'll do exactly the same thing and read it in. But say I want to read it in and save it in the environment, what I need to do is assign it to a variable name. And you can do that here. If I was to use general font, it's a left arrow and a hyphen. I put those together on my computer and they become an arrow. So you can do that. If you have RStudio, it is, I think it's, there you go, Alt and then the hyphen, and that is a shortcut just to paste it in for you. So now I've got read CSV, I can go file name and go Control and Enter, and it will run that single line. As you can see, it's read in everything here. So as you can see all the data that's come through for every game or every shot on every game, from every game. So now what we want to do is we're going to manipulate this data a little bit. And what we can use is a filter. So one thing what we should do is let's find a match ID. So let's go short star $ match ID, go enter, and let's just find the first one. So 19714. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go match underscore ID, and here to make equals, we're going to do two equals together. If you use just a single equals, you will get an error. So let's go double equals, and then we're going to go 197, oops, my number lock was not on, 19714. Go control and enter again, and we look at our filter and you can see it's filtered it down already for us, which is really cool. So now we have 31 rows here of data, and that's all from that single game. If you didn't want that game to be included, what you can do is go an exclamation mark and your equal sign, which gives us does not equal. If we go control and enter now, you can see we have 31 less observations in our data set. But as we're wanting to keep that, let's do that there. But then say you wanted to add a second filter. So what you could do is go match ID equals 9714. But then what do we want to equal it to? So let's go, we'll use the same thing here and we'll just grab, say for example, a team ID. So 746. So we're going to put a single and then we're going to go team.id equals 746. Control and enter. Oops. And there is my error because I haven't put a second equal sign. So let's do that. And there we have a double filter. So we've filtered it to a single game and a single team, which is pretty cool. What now if you wanted to select just certain columns? So the select function in Tidyverse will allow you to do that, and you can do it in a couple of ways. The first one is we want to create a list, so when you do that in R, you'll go C and then brackets, and then say we only wanted to get 1 to 5, 10, and say 16. We go control enter and you'll see in our select that we've only got 7 variables now. So these numbers relate to column indexes. So that's the column number essentially of your data sets. So if we click on short select here, we can see each of those columns there. But then say if we didn't want to do that, or we weren't really sure what numbers the columns were, but we knew the names, we could use just the name of the columns instead. So we could go this team.name, let's go player.name, let's go location.x and location.y. Go control enter, and you can see here we've got 5 variables, and you can see they're ordered in the way we wrote them. So in that sense, what you can also do is reorder columns with a select statement. So if we change and put location Y here, and we go control enter again, you can see we've got the same 5 variables, but now location Y and X have switched around, which is very easy, and it's a simple way of being able to manipulate your data into an order that you want it to be in. The next thing you might want to do is you might want to summarize your data. So let's use our shots data filter. And if you go Control Shift and then M, you're going to put in this pipe here, and this pipe helps to link together statements. So let's use that, and we're going to use a group by here. So a group by will just group together the teams, for example. So let's use that one, and then we'll use another pipe. And we're going to go summarize. And here we're just going to go shots, for example, equals n. Let's just go lowercase n. And so that's just going to count the shots by the team name. So let's go that first, and let's have a look and see what we get. So we had 16 for Manchester City and 15 for Chelsea. Now let's change it slightly. Let's put the player names, for example, player.name. And let's see what we got there. So you can see all the players that had a shot in that game. You could go another step and you could add in a second grouping function if you want to. So let's have a look at that. As you can see there, it's player, team, and shot counts. So you can do anything you like with a summarize in terms of what you summarize there. You could also, if you had the average location, you could create an average, or you could summarize anything you like, really. Any kind of aggregation, as long as anything that you include here will always show up in your summarize values or table that comes out. And then maybe you're getting to a point that you've got too much sitting in your environment and you want to remove some of it. So you can use this RM to remove anything from your global environment. So if you go this on shots double filter, you'll see it disappear. That's just a great way of saving some space in terms of memory, as all of the data will sit within the memory of your computer. But the last thing you might want to do is you might want to export out your data set. So what we can do is we have our here variable here in terms of data. What we can do is go paste 0, we can go data, and then we can add, let's just call this shot count.csv. Let's go control and enter. Oops, I forgot to add the data set, so we need to make sure we do that first. Let's go shot summarize, there we go. And then if we look over to the left here, or the right here, and you'll see shots count here at the bottom. So there's a really simple way of being able to bring in some data from a CSV file, filter it, select the columns you only want to keep, summarize it a little bit, and then export it back out as something else. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please make sure you hit like and subscribe below. And as always, I look forward to seeing you next time as we will continue to power performance through data. Thank you.